in and the differences between doing that and having new under construction and unknown selected. So right now in West Roseville, residential, I want to show you no property subtypes, active listings. There are 345 in my preview count. So now let's go ahead and maybe focus on more new build. So I'm going to look at new, under construction, and maybe any listing that has been input as unknown. So I'm going to go ahead and select that here. And now if I do preview count, you're going to see 47. To share with you all, the maximum number of listings you can pull up at any given time is 1,000. I'm huge on using preview count. It really shows what my jumping off point is. So I love using that when I'm sharing searching or best practices for searching within the MLS. Okay, so 47's a good little chunk of properties we can take a look at today. So I would love to get in and view results. One little last tip that I will give you on this page though, at any time, if you don't want to rerun this search over and over again, of course we can come up here and save and give it a name. In my few decades of teaching, I still notice that some of us don't save, and saving really does end up saving us a lot of time in the system. No pun intended. I find it such a great, useful tool to be able to save some of those searches that we're utilizing the most. So, and remember, you find those right here under save searches if you ever want to come back and revisit that particular save search. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click view results. Now, of course, I could come up here and click search as well. It's going to do the same exact thing. Either or is going to take you to the next step, which is our search results page. So here is our search results workspace that we launched quite a few months ago, lovingly called MLS 11. Really now it's just our search results page. So I want to take you on a tour. I want to show you some best practices, things that I've been speaking on or two in regards to, really how to get the most out of this page. So let's go ahead and go for, first off, a little bit of a tour here. So some buttons did move. Something I get asked frequently is, here at the upper, you're going to see left. Where did CMA go? I had an email button before. There was some other tools like cart, and I'm going to show you where all of that lives and even best practices for how to sort and organize those. So of course I could jump back. I love view criteria. Sometimes I'm in here and I could be helping anywhere from, 5 agents to 20 in a given day, depending upon, what my training schedule looks like. And, sometimes I'm in here searching for one agent. I need to pivot. I love view criteria because it tells you exactly what you plugged in. Did I put solar features? Did I put beds or baths? Did I forget to add square footage? And right from the jump here, it kind of allows you to see those little qualities that you may have omitted or you did include in your search. I love that. And then of course we have save as well. Now some buttons here. Right now, my default view is the grid. Now I realize my grid may look a little different than what you currently have. I'm going to show you in just a little bit how to set that up, customize, optimize it. It's such a really cool display format that you can completely leverage in the system. So we'll speak to that. Displays here is where you're going to come and view listings in various different formats. We have the photos of the listings. This could be our virtual tour. If there was any virtual tour attached to the listing, you would see that. We have attached documents here, and we can even pull everything to a map. Now, in the last, probably I would say 8 weeks, we did have some changes to email and even to printing functions. I'm going to point that out. Now, something else that I want to speak to is settings. And this is just best practices for this page. And I want to go through, again, optimization and how this looks. Now, something else that I would love to share with you here is we're going to go over the actions pane. You're going to see now I have mine open by default here. So I have this actions pane and there's a lot of tools in here we're going to speak to. And then the listings pane will only appear when you click on displays, but we're going to see all the listings here in the listings pane displayed to the left. So, and we'll go over this and best practices and how to utilize that. All right. So let me go back to the grid and I'm going to go over here, settings. So here I'm going to click on settings and I want to show you how to set up this page here. So a couple of things, some of us really love the dark background theme. I know you'll see that a lot on cell phones and tablets and everything else to that extent. I have a light theme or a dark theme. If you want to go to the dark side, you can. You have that option here to do so. I say my default view is I always leave mine set to the grid. I think that grid is a great jumping off point, and I would absolutely love you to start at that place too. I love the grid with all the detail initially. I think it's fantastic to have that as your initial view. The reason I come here is I do have some agents that have their default view to last selected, and it's whatever they were last looking at. So if they were looking at attachments, they run a new search, they come back in here, that's what's going to display the next time they're in here. And it gets a little confusing. So I would say always have your default view to your grid. Again, I think that's 10 out of 10, great jumping off point for everybody. Now, you probably noticed that my listings pane was automatically expanded. And if you didn't, it was expanded. And also my actions pane. So when I come in here, I like being able to see all those tools right off the bat. I find it's really, really helpful when I'm in here and I'm trying to navigate this page. So these are just things that I recommend. Of course, I know we have our own ways we like to view things, but this is what I share with anyone that I teach. Now I'm going to click save and it's going to apply those preferences to this page. So the first thing I really want to get into with everybody here is your actions pane. And something really cool on the actions pane that was added is this tool here. And I want to talk about favorites because this will help you streamline your processes in the system 110%. And why is that? Well, as I scroll down the actions pane, I want to point a few things out here. So you're going to see view, manage, listing, right? And these links here all have to do with this listing that is in blue called our focused listing. So whether it's I want to see tax roll really quickly, the tax record, which is pulling from Realist. I want to email the listing agent, view the property history, hugely important. I can see here, find comparables. There's lots of cool tools that you can utilize here. So there are those tools. Let's talk about some more. By the way, these expand and collapse as well. So if you wanted to collapse them as you're looking at them, you can just like I did by clicking the arrow here. Now, prospecting, that's that automated drip system that we have in our system. So you can see here, you can do things from adding a prospect to scheduling a showing. That's a function they have in here. Cart. So I do get a lot of questions about the cart. Hey, where was it organized to? Where did it go? So here is that quick link to a cart. I don't know if any of you use the cart, but it is a great holding tank for listings, especially if you're going to be putting listings from maybe a couple different communities in just to observe or watch them. It is, again, and I can show you an example of how to use the cart. It's a really great, again, holding tank for listings. You don't have to save the whole search. You can just save the individual listings and see what price reductions happen, see when they close, see all those details that occur through the life of a listing. Here's where your CMA is. So your CMA is down here a little bit lower. There are some other tools you're going to see in here from run stats, exports, presentation package, and now I have some third-party vendor links. Now, if I see things a little bit differently than you do, that's just because I have super user access, and that's because I help agents every single day. So I may have some additional tools that you will only see when you own a particular listing or you've listed a property in the MLS here. So what if out of all of these tools, there are just various things that we're focusing on? Maybe we don't want all of these. We don't want to have to scroll up and down this actions pane to see the tools that we use the most. So what I can do is I can actually set up favorites. And I love this. And when I show this to agents, everybody's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that existed. So I want to click here. It says actions pane favorite settings. And I'm going to click on that. And now I'm going to show you, you can create your own module that's going to display in this actions pane with just the tools that you utilize. So a lot of us like to jump into tax record. That's an important one that everybody always expresses that they want to go into quickly. Another one is they want to see the history. So they want to see a history of the property. So yes, absolutely, we can add that here. You can see there's some other links, and I'm just clicking on this circle with the green plus in it to add them to my favorites. Of course, I could also come here and remove them at any time. Now let's go down a little bit further. I'm going to scroll down past prospecting. And so I'm going to close this one. Cart. A lot of us like to utilize the cart. We want to throw listings into a cart so we can check those out later on. I can do that. CMA is also very important. I want to jump right into a CMA and pull up comps. We can do that as well. The remaining tools here, if I go, okay, with these 46 properties, I want to jump into stats. I can also pull that in. So I always tell agents I would probably not plug in more than 6 or 7 favorites because it makes that module very long. And then you'll have scrolling to do, which defeats the purpose of setting up favorites. But I say 5 or 6 of those links that you quickly want to get into and you're utilizing the most, absolutely do that. So here is what I'm going to do next. Here at the lower right-hand corner, I'm going to click save. And it's going to say, hey, your changes have been saved. Awesome. My screen blinks and refreshes. And now I have all of those favorites at the upper right-hand side of my actions pane. You guys, that's the only homework I'll give you for today. I'm not a teacher that hands out a lot of homework, so I highly suggest setting up your favorites. I've had so many agents tell me it's shaved off so much time in having to navigate to those particular tools. And to be honest, CMA probably the most outside of tax records and cart. So just because I see so many people, that's the feedback they give me. Now, some other things. I want to talk about some of these other tools here, and I'm just going to work my way here from left to right. So this one here, this is called hide unchecked listings. And you can see when I put my cursor over it, it's a little square and it looks like an eyeball with a checkbox. What if I just wanted to focus on not all 47 of these properties? So you can currently see I have here in the upper left, I have all 47 selected. Now, maybe it's just these 3 that I want to analyze at the moment. I want to take a peek at, I want to look at the details on. And here, if you follow my cursor, I'm going to come back up here to the upper right, and I'm going to hide the remaining listings. So now if I wanted to go through these, kind of a chunk at a time, I absolutely could and go in and preview those particular properties. It's just a way to compartmentalize groups of properties. And, a lot of agents love to utilize that. So I wanted to share that with you. So now to bring them back, I just click on that button again, and it's going to now show the remaining listings that I have on here. Now, something else, there's a lot of components of the grid I'm going to show you today, but there are some other sorting functions here. And the next little icon I'm showing you here to the right is set how the listings are sorted. So universally by default, and I can show you a quick few preferences at the end, you can determine how these listings pull up as soon as you hit that search button. Now mine are set up to a very common default that we have in our system, which is status. You can see here, I'm going to click on that drop down. I have area, and then I have price. Now, on the fly, if there are any other ways you would like these sorted or organized, maybe I want them sorted by, city and then days on market and then whatever other function I'd like them sorted by, I can also do that. Now here, if I choose sort as selected, this opens up another component. And it was ever so slight. If you blinked or if you were paying attention to what I was doing here, you probably didn't see it. But what it did here for me is it actually allows me to sort and organize listings. It opens up this box here to the left, and I want to show you how to utilize that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close out of this, and I'm going to select all the listings. And why would I come in here and sort them? Maybe I just want to put them in order of how I'm viewing them or how I'm presenting them to a prospective client. You're going to see when I selected that button, sort of selected, it did add them in increments of 10. So if I want to come in here and reorganize them, I can. So how about this one on Silver Feather Way? It is number 60. And I want to put this one at the top of the list. Well, it just needs to be any number lower than 10. So let's make it a 3 for today, okay? So what I'm going to do next is it doesn't automatically jump or shift. If you'll follow my cursor here, there is a little refresh button. And what that's going to do now is it's going to refresh my sort order. And now you can see that one, 1016 Silver Feather Way is now at the very top of my list. And it actually just gives you a brand new sort. So it just starts to reorganize them again by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Frequently I get asked why are they in increments of 10? And the reason being is because frequently we pull up a large number of listings and we want to organize those listings. If I had even 47 listings and they were all in increments of 1, I would have to renumber every single listing to get them organized in the fashion of how I want to present them or how I'm showing them to a client. So the increments of 10 gives you 10 invisible spaces in between each listing so you can move multiple other listings. It really is quite efficient when you are coming in here and organizing properties. So that was that sort function. Now, this tool is so great. I love this tool. It is called Find Text. So, and this really comes with editing your grid. Now, if I scroll over here and I'll start talking to the grid, speaking to the grid just a little bit here. So you're going to see what this tool will do is it will actually find any keywords that you are looking for on this screen. Now, I have added 2 fields to my one-line grid in particular that I can search through. You can see here, I can do private remarks and I can do public remarks. So what if I want to search by an amenity or a quality or something to that effect? How about I type in HOA? Okay. And so what I'm going to do, so I just clicked on this little icon, it dropped down this box here. I type in that keyword and now I can click on this arrow and look at it is highlighting any one of those columns that has that keyword in that I am looking for. You can see this one says anything with HOA, it is pulling up for me. Now, a lot of us in the MLS use that Control F or Command F feature, right? Where there's so many words on the page, we're trying to crawl the screen for a keyword. I get asked about a lot, what's the difference between that and using this function? Well, this function here, this find text, will locate a keyword below the more button here. So some of these remarks can be, quite long, and it will find that keyword. Where Control F, it only searches what it sees on the screen. So that is a really important little tool here that can help you focus in on certain qualities, amenities, features that you're wanting to highlight. So, which again, I absolutely love. Now I get asked, can I search by more than one keyword at a time by separating them by commas? Not in this particular tool. Can you do that? But the last thing I want to share with you is what is the difference between what I'm seeing in yellow right now and orange. So orange is what it's currently focused on or looking at. Yellow is what it previous saw or what is coming up next with that keyword displayed. So just wanted to share that with you as I'm navigating around within this. Now, last but not least is a zoom in and zoom out tool. And so I love this. It is at a particular zoom level. You know, frequently we come in here and we're trying to zoom the screen, and I'm going to show you how a lot of us do it, including myself previously. I'd hold down the control or command key if you have a Mac, and I'm hitting the control plus, and I zoom in this whole screen. But guess what happens? It distorts the whole screen. I can't see everything I'm really wanting to look at. It is zooming it in. Um, but again, it's distorting the screen. So what this tool next does, and I want to share with you that zoom in and zoom out, it allows you just to zoom in what you're seeing here on the grid. So I'm going to click just the plus, and you're going to see it's just zooming in the results. So if you want your results set at 130%, there you go. And that can be now your view that you're looking at these properties in every time you come in and run a search. I find it's really, really helpful as you're checking out the information here. Now, it is going to hold it by default for whatever search you run next. So just to share with you. So I can zoom back out to 100%. All right, so those are all the tools from we saw here. Actions, paying favorites, set those up. They're really, really cool. The hide uncheck, the sort tool, and even that sort as selected where we added the increments of 10, 20, 30. You can see here that is the refresh link for that sort tool. I have that find text tool, which I'm going to show you in a minute how to use that in another area, which is really, really cool. And then you're going to see zoom in and zoom out. So I have all of those little key functions here. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is the grid. You know, since the grid was launched, it's been about, I think, 15 years now. It's been around for. This is the only display I've really taught because it is customizable. Some things that I added on the grid recently is subdivision, builder model, builder name. I always have showing instructions, but you can really get creative and add whatever you would like to these grids that helps you get the most out of the results and what you want to view. I think it is extremely clever. Now, something also that is really amazing about the grid is that you can click on any one of these field headings and organize the listings by just that column. So if I wanted to click on list close, it's going to organize all the listings ascending. Now, if I click on it again, it's going to organize them descending by list and close price. Now, what you may have seen while I was doing that is the page seemed to be scrolling up and down. Why does it do that? Well, it is staying focused on that listing I selected, that 1016 silver feather way. It doesn't want me to lose that listing because I did select it. So it's acknowledging the fact that, hey, you may still want to do more with that listing. I'm going to keep track of that, even if you sort, you know, by another column on this screen. So that's why it does that, just to share with you. Now, one of my most loved columns that I've added on here is showing instructions. You can organize all the listings by vacants. So if I click on this once, it is alphabetical. So it's going to organize them ascending. I click on it twice, it's going to organize them descending. Now I'm going to navigate away from that focus listing. And I apologize for the quick scroll here, but we're going to go to the top here. And now I can see everything vacant, key in office. As I scroll down, I'm going to see some other showing instructions, see remarks. I can see restricted hours, so on and so forth. That's going to give me a lot of insight without having to go into the full listing detail. So let's talk about editing your grid and adding other columns to your grid. So here you're going to see at the very upper left-hand side of the screen, there is a little wheel. It is a settings button. And this is what allows us to customize a grid or create multiple grids to be able to view listings by on this page. So I'm going to click the settings button here. I'm going to click customize grid. And you'll see here, you can customize a grid for any property type you search across the MLS. Right now I'm in residential. These are the available fields. The fields right here to the left are what you have available to add to your grid. This is what I currently have selected. Now, the grid that I'm in is notated right here at the upper left. This is my default. It's called the one line grid. In a moment, I will show you how to make another grid if you would like to. So if I want to add any fields to a grid, maybe I want to add the picture. It is called thumbnail primary picture. I want to add showing instructions. I want to add builder information. I absolutely can. You will locate that here along the left to add it to the right. I'll use, how about, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to use accessibility features as an example to add to the grid to show you. So I'm going to click accessibility features. The easiest way to do this here is to now, I'm not going to click add. I'm going to actually select where I want this added to along the right. So if I want to add that right here, it's going to push days on market down, and it's going to add accessibility features right there on the grid. And when I go back and I show this to you, how it displays right here from top to bottom is how it's going to show from left to right on the grid. So all I have to do is remember to save this. But before I save it, I want to show you a few other things. Now, maybe I plugged it into this spot and I go, oh, oops, I don't want it here. I can move that down a little bit further. I can move it up. Just like with the listings too, I could change the sort order. It is in increments of 10. The same methodology that I showed you earlier applies. So I could absolutely do that as well. If I oopsie and I plug something on here I didn't mean to, I can absolutely take that off. So if I wanted to come in here and I wanted to take anything off, I could remove that. You know what I always tell everybody, beware of the remove all button. I see people do it all the time in my classes. Don't do it. Okay. If you do click remove all, just don't click save. Word of caution. So I'm going to click save on this one, and you can see your changes have been saved. That's very a good little comment there. So you know everything you applied. You can now go and view on your search results page. But before I move on, I do want to show you how to make or customize another grid. So I could do one of two things. Here at the top, I have a save button, which we just clicked. I could click new. And the cool thing is it actually doesn't make me start a whole new one line grid from scratch. It gives me about it's like 12 to 15 default fields that we have in this system. Or I could copy what I currently have because I really love this layout and just add a few specialty fields to that search results that I would like to see. So let's do that. I'm going to click copy here. I'm going to copy what I currently have. And now I'm going to create a popular grid that a lot of the agents love. I am going to add homeowners association features to a grid for you to see. So I'm going to cleverly name this HOA 2 because I already have a one. Or actually, you know what? Let's just leave it HOA. And I'm going to click copy. So now what you'll see in the upper left-hand corner is I'm not in the one line grid anymore. I'm in a new grid called HOA. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add those fields to it that I would like to see. Those fields are under the name, and these are all going to display in alphabetical order. They're under the name association. And I'm going to scroll down here. And so I want to show you, these are all the association fields that you could add. You could add association. I could add the association features, the fee, if it's mandatory, what it includes. You're going to see here, and so you have the phone number, name, and some other fields if you would like to. So some that are very popular that I add, if I go ahead and I add in association here, I'm going to hold down the control key and I can do the features, the fee frequency, and what the fees include. And I can add that here to my grid. So let's say I want to plug it right in, all those features at once. I'm going to plug it into this section here, and it's going to push accessibility features down. It's going to add all of those really cool columns into my grid. And now I just created a grid for homeowners association so I could see all that information, because maybe again, I'm analyzing. Okay. So I am going to go here to the upper, again, left. I'm going to click save. Now, at any time, you're going to see some new buttons appeared. I can always restore my defaults. I can go back to square one and set my defaults in, and maybe I need to kind of recreate this. Again, I showed you new. I copied my previous grid. Now, I could rename this at any time or delete. Now, if you do make multiple other grids, this is where you will come in and edit them. And this is how you edit all the additional grids you made. Now, these are all ones I've created just based on questions I've been asked in class. So you won't see these when you click on your drop down, but again, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to kind of give you some more insight or how to create some of these additional grids if you would like. So I'm going to click, again, I click save. I'm going to go back to list now. And now how do I get to that new grid called HOA? So you can see this one line grid, and that's what I'm on currently. It is showing that new field accessibility features. Okay. So here, if I click on the drop down and I go to this one called HOA, you're going to see, look, I have association, yes or no. I can see here the association features and the association fee, the fee frequency, and what the fees include. Now, if I want to organize by this particular column, again, just like I showed you earlier with showing instructions, I can click on it ascending or descending. And again, apologies for the quick scroll, but I'm going to go to the top here, and you're going to see, look at it, organizes them by the ones that have the association fee and the fee frequency, as you can see here. So I love the customization. And again, it is really beneficial to just add the columns that you want to see in here. Absolutely 100% recommend it. Now, some other things that I want to go over with you is displays. Really important. So we're going to touch base on that. So here under displays, or when I click on displays, it is going to pull up what I have set as default. Now here, if I click on the drop down, you're going to see, the cool thing about the search results page is it's completely customizable. So here under settings, I can come in and I can pick which default display I want to see these listings in every time I launch this. Every time I launch displays, I like seeing the full listing detail. You can turn on and off the displays you'd like to see, kind of streamline your process if you'd like to. And then you can click save. You can even put them in a different order. You can see you can drag these up and down if you wanted. Okay. Some important things that you can do in displays. Obviously, you see the full listing detail. I'm sure all of you have been in here before, but I want to show you in the actions pane. So I'm going to open up the actions pane, and I am going to close this here. And I can also use this find text tool to find key things. What if I wanted to search showing instructions or gate? If they're, some of these communities are gated. So if I want to search gate code, I can type in gate and I can click this arrow, and you can see it will take me right to that field, right on that report. So if it's anything that you're searching for, you can type in that keyword and it is going to locate it for you, which is really, really great. It saves you so much time and a whole lot of squinting, right? Some other things that you can do on here is you can also come in here and you can zoom in on this particular report here. And again, it's going to hold that zoom level. So if that's what you're comfortable with, you want this at, 115%, you can leave it at that. Now, I'm going to open up the listings pane and I want to show you some best practices. So one thing that I get as far as a question is, hey, I want to navigate from property to property quickly. I don't want to scroll down, click, and then look at the next listing, scroll down, click. Now, I know you can't see this on my side of the world, but I'm going to share with you what I'm going to do here. I am going to actually go back to the top again, quickly scrolling. I'm going to click on this first property. Now, what you don't see me doing is I'm going to use the down arrow on my keyboard. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to navigate in between each listing really effectively, very quickly without having to, scroll and click. I love that. It's a great little function. So I wanted to share that with you. Some other things on here, and you're going to see some of these icons are similar. I have here displays, so I can view the display for the listing, and that's already what I'm in here. But I can also see here the pictures, and or of course I could have clicked up there. This is going to show me where that listing is on a map. And by the way, layers on a map is phenomenal. You can do some routing in here, but it is going to show you where that resides right on the map. Okay. I can come in here and check out history. We have our attached documents here. If there is any attachments, this one just doesn't happen to have any. We see the tax record. If we were to click on that, and that's going to launch Realist Tax, as you can see here. This would be a virtual tour. Now, if this was my listing, I could also see the revise this listing link. But again, it's only going to be if this is my listing from within my office. Now you have some sharing functions, email, exporting, or social media. And then last but not least, there's just various ways to see the agent in office. There's Noreen. I can find comparables. I can get a lovely little neighborhood report. Unless you work for MetroList, you're not going to see privileged information, sorry, and report violation. So I wanted to just walk you through the listings and listing pane through displays, so I can kind of show you some of those nuances. Now, a couple of the things that I want to show you next, which are really important, things I get asked about a lot. I'm going to navigate back from displays to the grid, is the email and the reports. These are still my most asked questions that I get, and very important part of this whole training today. So if I come in here and I would like to select a few properties and I want to share them with someone, I'm going to select those three. And what I can do is I can come in here, and if you follow my cursor, I'm going to come here to email. I'm going to select on email, and you're going to see it's going to give me some options as to what to send to my clients. Now, the cool thing that happened about 8 weeks ago is it actually holds the last set of reports that you sent out. So if that happens to be, and maybe these are things that you lean towards frequently, a map report, and you can see I have client summary here. I absolutely can send multiple reports at once. And we couldn't do that previously, which I love that function. It's fantastic that you have that. But any displays that you want to send, or any of the grids maybe you create, maybe you create a specialty grid that you like to send out to clients. I have a lot of agents that do that. Any attachments that you want to send along, or anything else, a map or neighborhood report, you can absolutely do that. Once you're done, you can email the package. And by the way, right now, you're going to see here at the top, I have 3 of 47 selected, but maybe I just meant to select that focused listing, not all, not those 3 properties. I just wanted that one. So here, it actually gives you the option just to select current. So I have 1 out of 47 to select what I have checked, or if I wanted to email all 47 out, I also have that functionality right within here without going back a step, which is really nice. But I am going to just select check for today, and we will continue to email package. So I'm going to click on that here. Now, all I need to do is I'm my own worst client, by the way. I'm just going to let you know that right here. You can see one of my aliases is Big Spender. We go way back. Okay. So I'm going to send that to my client. I have a CC, a blind copy. Now, I get a lot of questions on this. I get lots of questions on how did you set this up? My subject line just says listings. I'm going to show you at the end how to set up some preferences that will save you time. It'll be a very quick show and tell. But this is something I picked up my very first year of teaching for the MLS. Agent said, "Hey, I like to put my name in the subject line because some emails get lost in the spam folder." Also, a lot of agents now add their cell phone number here. So if you do send this out to anyone, you can get a quick contact or connection back with your client, which I think is brilliant. And then you can even see here in the note, I've set some default verbiage in. That way I don't have to, spell check, grammar check. Maybe I'm in a hurry and I want to just send this off. I can put, "Hi, Melissa," and I can then just hit send and it's already crafted and created for me. And that's just going to go right to my client. Now, I love the email. Oh, and by the way, let me go back in here one more time. One thing that I wanted to share with you that I skipped over here is the preview email. So if I want to see what this is going to look like to my clients before I send it, here we go. I'm going to click preview email. And yes, that is my agent photo. Lovely Miss Audrey Hepburn. But you're going to see here, it's going to load that map report. So I can see those listings on the map report here. And I can also click on the client summary. So it has all your information at the top, your builder that you work for. You're going to see here, I have the addresses of the properties. They can view all the photos by clicking on these links right here, map and so forth. So I wanted just to show you, you do have that quick preview right from here if you wanted it. Now, outside of preferences, some last few things that I want to speak to is printing. It's really important. Again, another thing that I get asked about frequently. So let's talk about printing. And again, best practices for printing. So I'm going to click on this drop down here, and they did modify printing in the last few weeks. They do give you an option to print portrait or landscape now, which is really nice. Now, what I have happened frequently is I have agents go into displays and they want to print more than one of those displays out at once, and they can't figure out how to do it in here. This section of the system is not meant to have you do that, not meant to have you pull multiple reports at once. It's just one at a time when you go into displays. But here, and let me share the various different options you have for printing. If I print right now, if I select checked, it's going to print just these 3 checked in the one-line grid display format. I can do that with a border or without a border here. If I decide to do all 47, it's going to print all. That is a lot to pull up in a grid, but I could do that. And I could also do all without a border as well. Now, the presentation package is where it's at. This is where you're going to be able to do like a client showing report, any agent reports you want, and any additional reports or attachments that you want to include when you're giving this to anyone that you're speaking with. Now, what I did is I clicked on the star next to that particular tool or selection, because what that does now is it sets that as a default. So that anytime I come in here and I select properties, that is going to be my primary function. I'm mostly doing presentation packages, Melissa. So I set that as a default by clicking the star next to it. Highly suggest it. So let's take a peek at presentation package. Now this is functioning very similar to the email. It is holding the last set of reports that you ran in here, which is lovely. Again, frequently we are pulling the same reports over and over again. But if there's any additional reports that you want to add under displays, now here, the difference between this and email is that you are now seeing agent reports, which you don't see in email. I can add any of the agent reports that I want to. I can, if I have, again, a specialty grid I want to add, I can do that. Any attachments here or any other document or any other reports or different options here, history, neighborhood report, pictures, I could also add that here. And the way I do that is just simply by selecting that particular report. And it then does add it here. You can see here, agent and office. Now, before I pull this up, if there's anything that I want to take off, I go, okay, I want to take this grid off. I don't need this one. I already got the client showing report on here, so I'm going to take off client. We're going to take off the client full, and I'll leave agent office on just so you can see that. Now, maybe I want to reorder these before I print. So here I go, okay, the agent office and the agent summary is just for me as the agent. So I'm going to drag this down here to the bottom. And so the map report and the client showing report, I'm going to parse that out. I'm going to give it right to my client. Now, before I create the package, I can give this a name. So if I have a good client, and why do I name this? It's for searching for them later on. I have a good client. Her name is Anita Room. Ha ha ha. I know. Don't quit my day job. You can see here I plugged her name in, and I will be able to locate it later on by that name. I'm going to show you in a minute. Same thing with email. If I didn't mean to select or I didn't want to do reports for all three of those properties I have currently checked, I could just do that current property, that focus listing. Or again, I could do all 47. That's a whole lot of reports. We're not going to do that. So I'll do it for the three listings to share and show you. So I'm going to click create package now, and you're going to see the package will be ready shortly. Please check the notification center momentarily for the package link. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and click close. And where that is going to be available to me is right here, that little bell. Now it does, you can see it turned orange and it looks like it's ringing now. I didn't have to wait for it. But that's again, I wanted to show you what it looked like once it turned that orange color. Oftentimes I click into it and it's automatically ready. So just to share with you, there's not a whole lot of lag time. Now, you can see Anita Room, big spender, buyer tour for Mo money. All my good clients, right? So I can come in here and search by title, description, or date. So I do recommend naming them just for organizational purposes. But just to show you what we added for Anita today, I'm going to click view package here, and you're going to see that map report. A lot of agents love client showing because it gives a lot of details about the property. And then it gives a little questionnaire at the bottom. Do you like this property? Definitely, somewhat, not really, not at all. And it's going to take you through each of those properties. And here's the agent office information for those particular properties. Okay, so that is how you pull up your packages and print multiple reports. And again, if you're doing that frequently, I highly suggest leaving this set and defaulted to presentation package. Now, one last thing that I want to share with you in the few minutes that we have left is under preferences. I did set some preferences today for this particular search screen and email that I want to show you that will, again, help you streamline your processes. So instead of navigating away from this page, because I'll wrap up with it at the end, I do want to show you here, and I would love it if you look at my cursor here. There's this little square with the up arrow. And you know, a lot of agents know about this. I still do run into some that don't. You can open up multiple MLS sessions here. So I'm going to open up another session. Just a quick little tip I love to share. Maybe I'm comparing and contrasting properties. This could be subject property. This could be comps. Lots of different things that there's other reasons I might want to have multiple sessions open for. The reason I opened up this second session is because I want to share with you some preferences and really pointedly the preferences for searching and also email, because that's what we spoke to today. So if I go into admin and I set up preferences, now these preferences together as a whole will affect the system. They really help you, again, streamline many different processes. But for today's training, I'm just going to focus on searching defaults, just a few of them, and email. So quickly, let's take a peek at this. We're going to go to searching defaults. And you can see here, I have sort as selected, set up as a default, my increments of 10, or is set in increments of 10, which is why it pulls in that fashion. Now, remember I told you there was those three little lines in the upper left-hand corner. That is how your listings are sorted initially. You tell the system by default how you want to see those listings sorted as soon as you hit search. I have many agents who have this set by default in many different fashions. Please come in if it helps you. Come in and change your default sort and how the listings pull. Now, a couple things I will skip over. Property types. Whenever I'm searching, I'm primarily searching by residential property, so I have that selected for myself. It just gets it ready for me to run my search. So instead of having to click on that every single time I run a search, residential's already checked for me. Now, what I wanted to wrap with is the email defaults. Again, I feel this is a huge time saver. And it allows you to really customize the system. So you can come in here and set up your default subject. Many of you do now put your cell phone numbers in here so that when your clients, you send that email to them, your cell phone numbers in the subject line, they can click on it and call you or text you right away. Really helps again with that quick connection. And then this is just really great to have a little note in here because it's spell checked and grammar checked. It's ready to rock and roll for you. Again, those little things seem incremental, but they do save you a lot of time in the system, which is why I always love to point them out. So you're going to see you can plug in your default note here, and I highly recommend it. So I changed both of those areas of the system. I maybe made little modifications. And once I'm done, I just click save. And now I can navigate back to my homepage and continue on with whatever I'm doing in the MLS. So I'm going to open it up. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything that you would like me to go over again, or if there's anything else you would like to see, I am absolutely open to it. And if I don't see any, then I'm just going to go through the run through of what we covered today. All right. It looks pretty quiet in the chat, unless I'm not seeing something. You're so welcome. I appreciate your time. So just a really quick run through of, so I went into a standard search today. You know, you guys, I ran a rather simple search and I do that in training just to streamline. But again, you're going to see here at residential, that's my preference. Active, I put in West Roseville and we kept it very simple today. I talked about preview count and the benefit of that, kind of knowing what you're jumping into before you run your search. I love that. I make mistakes in here all the time. It's really, really helpful. Remember, the max you can pull up is 1,000 listings. Now, from your search results page, I just gave you a quick little overview, some high points. Make sure your settings are optimized. Again, especially your default view is set to grid instead of last selected. I highly recommend that. Set up your favorites. I find that is really, really beneficial. And then if you can get in here and customize your grid, 100% recommend that. Please put on the columns that just you want to see. Again, it's going to save you so much time hunting for those features on the different properties you're looking at. Last few things that I think are very important. Set up those defaults for your email under admin in your preferences. Then you'll see that default subject line and no auto populate. And then my recommendation, because many of you are wanting to print multiple reports at once, is set that presentation package as your default function for this. And that way, every time you come in here and select properties, you click presentation package and it will be ready to go for you. All right, you guys. Well, I will stick around a few more minutes just in case you have any other questions. I'm going to leave my information here in the chat. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime. Email is the best way to reach me, and I would love to answer any questions or help you out as you need it. All right, you guys. Well, thanks again for having me today. Thanks, Marina.